What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 2 of Two Guys, One Gamepad. I am Rahgel, again accompanied with, or by, 6 Hour. Uh, Again, episode number 2, getting back at it, having some fun. Thank you, everybody who tuned into the last episode. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Google, and even the YouTube channel. It's been amazing. A lot of the views are up. Everything's looking good. So, yeah, Sig, how are you doing?
I am good. I'm good. How are you, man?
All right, so a lot of things going on coming up this week. We got WrestleMania starting next week. Big matches, a lot of stuff going on. So I think we're going to cover some stuff from WrestleMania. Talk about that. Go back in kind of things we talked about last week, too. I think a couple game reviews. I did catch up on some of the games that we talked about. But some of the things we want to talk about there. And then if you have time, there's a few other things to address.
You want to rant?
Bothering me.
Just call it like it is. You want to rant? It's fine.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I'm not going to stop you. I'm intrigued when you told me that it's been bothering you this much. I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
We'll definitely.
I mean, okay. So we'll just get into it then.
Yeah,
so
get into it.
Marvel and DC, huge actors in themselves. When it comes to the movies, though, Marvel obviously holds. I mean, they're way higher in any way you look at it.
Yeah.
DC, I don't know why or what about DC, they cannot get their shit straight. DC is like the old man's comic.
Yeah.
You have, your Batman, Superman, all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Superman fan. I mean, my oldest son is named after Superman. I love Superman, always have, but when it comes to the movies, Marvel takes the cake. Until you look at some of the stuff that DC has done with Peacemaker, I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Yeah. I'm up to date.
The way that they've done that show, it's like the only way that I think DC is going to be able to do anything is if they play to the crude and inner child of the ones that grew up watching a lot of the stuff.
So
not for one, I'm all about that. That's fine.
I mean, I'm all for that too. But I will say there's a huge difference though, because I think the biggest issue that DC faces and why so many of their TV series are amazing, but their movie franchise is just hot trash, is the fact that look at the last two big hits from DC. Suicide Squad, the latest one, and Peacemaker. The common denomination between the two of them is James Gunn. They let James Gunn come in and direct it how he wanted and do what he wanted, and they backed off. Even Warner Brothers stayed away from it and they trusted Gunn's reputation and production work, that with everything he's done with Marvel, being Guardian of the Galaxies and more, they were like, yeah, you're amazing. You do what you need to do, Gunn. Get after it. Whereas prior to that, let's take Suicide Squad again. Take that first one versus the second one. That first one, they had a lot of good things planned and had a lot of good ideas and concepts, but then they caved when they brought in Will Smith for Deadshot. And it was supposed to originally, watch the old trailers even, the original trailers before they even announced Deadshot was going to be in it and Will Smith was going to be it. It was all hyper-focused around Joker and Harley. It was supposed to be about them. And Will Smith got brought in, and rumor has it, he essentially said, if I'm going to be a part of it, I want to be the main character. And you can tell the story quickly shifted from being about Joker and Harley, where even when they plugged the little Joker scenes of a flashback for Harley, it didn't really tie in too much to the series or to the movie as it should have. This seems like there's a lot of missing parts because it was more focused on, oh, well, Deadshot's asking Harley Quinn about this, and now you're seeing a flashback. And it didn't flow properly, didn't work properly. And then you also have even the Batman movie with Ben Affleck. There's a lot of things they wanted to do with it. The director wanted to do with it, but Warner Brothers came in and said, no, we don't want that. That's too dark. No, we don't want this. No, you will do this. And there's too many strings trying to puppeteer everyone. Whereas Marvel / Disney really trust, the Russo brothers, trust Gunn, and trust. I'm gonna get so much shit because I can't think of his name now. Oh fuck me. Happy from Iron Man, John Favreau.
Yeah, John Favreau.
Like, they trust those people, and they can do essentially whatever they wanted. And even Sean Levy, who's directing the third Deadpool movie, like, they're just allowed to kind of do what they want, and they have virtual free range as long as Kevin Feige approves of it. They can do it, and Disney doesn't really question Kevin so much anymore either because he's earned it. Whereas DC has so many different directors here and there. It's inconsistent. They need to get 3 or 4 good directors, come in and just overhaul it.
I think overhauling would be great because they have no direction. If you're looking at DC, there's no direction at all. They tried to do it Justice League and it flopped.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad has been now, I think, revamped in the way that this last one they just did. Now, spin off of Peacemaker. I don't know whatever the crackhead weasel that was in.
Oh my god, that dude just.
It was just creepy as shit.
But it intrigued you though. That was the thing. Was like.
It did.
You saw that. You're like, what the fuck is this crackhead weasel in this damn? Who the fuck is Weasel? How did he get? And then you're like, oh, okay. And spoiler for everyone who hasn't seen it. You're like, oh, he died. Good. He deserved it. And then at the end of it, you're like,
yeah.
Seriously? They better not do a second one about this guy right here. Fuck you.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it too, the way John Cena, I think we talked about last podcast too, just kind of how certain characters play certain roles, and he's found his niche in the way that he plays characters, and I think this one fits him perfectly. The way that everything does, and having his sidekick Eagly is just, I mean, over the top, but perfect.
I'm just saying. Side note to Eagly, it's an Amazon exclusive Funko Pop. I'm waiting for that to drop, and I will get it. Because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Like, have you seen the interview, or maybe somebody was talking with James Gunn about Peacemaker, and he's like, if you read the comics, Peacemaker is not really a bisexual guy in the comics. He's very straightforward. He's very like hard-headed, straightforward, and he's true to his word. But they let John Cena improvise, if you will, so many parts of not only the movie but the TV series, and he really made it his own and put a twist on it that now everyone knows Peacemaker as this really weird, outgoing, bisexual, daddy issue guy who is just amazing. And like now everybody's waiting for Peacemaker season 2 to come out.
Which, yeah, I still haven't finished season 1 yet. But DC, on the other hand, when it comes to TV shows, I think they are way better than Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
You take The Flash, which I think is still going, which has a great storyline. Smallville was great until the 6th or 7th season.
I always forget Smallville is technically, or DC because it's Superman's story. I always forget that shit.
And that was back when, that was a while ago. But it was still good. And Arrow was good.
Yeah.
Supergirl kind of a flop. But
it's hit and miss. Some episodes were good, other episodes were bad, but overall, yeah, I would.
The crossover episodes were great as well.
Yes.
I mean, having those, like the Flash, that one's great. Now I can't think really any in Teen Titans. The live action Teen Titans is really good as well.
So I'm torn on that one, and that's more of a personal. I love the dark, gritty side of it, like it should be. And like you said earlier, I think if DC stuck with the dark, gritty side of it for both TV and movie, it would excel so much quicker and be better. But something about Starfire and Raven's character, the way they're portrayed, not the people who play them, just the way their characters portrayed on screen. It doesn't seem like a true fit to their character in the comic books, and maybe that's just me being a little bit too of a diehard comic book nerd versus adaptation free range of it, but like there needs to be at least a common ground similarity between the two of them rather than drastically different. So
No, I agree, but I do think Marvel is making their way up with the Disney Plus shows that they're coming out with Loki and all of those. So
Loki was
they are doing a lot better with that one. I mean, that one's great.
well,
WandaVision took a little bit to get into.
WandaVision still is like, and it's the same for Winter Soldier and Falcon. They are both like WandaVision and Winter Soldier TV series. Those were definitely both just what felt like fillers in between time gaps, and to introduce Agent Carter back into it, and then to give us the first glimpse at the multiverse. But yeah, WandaVision took a while, and so did Winter Soldier and Falcon. Both of those TV series on Disney Plus just felt like they dragged on, and that some episodes weren't needed at all, and just fillers get to 8, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, they definitely were fillers. Now Hawkeye, I haven't watched Hawkeye yet, and I'm gonna probably struggle to watch that one.
No, it's a good one.
Is it? Okay. Well, see, I haven't watched that one yet.
There's an actual, like, it's a solid time flow, so you're not having, like the biggest issue I had with Wanda was how quickly they jumped from period to period to period in the decades, and not all of it made a connection to the universe they were in. But Hawkeye definitely not only does a great introduction, like Kate Bishop, but then, do you know? I don't know if you know about it. I don't want to tell you the problem. You know how Hawkeye ends? Do you know who gets introduced?
Yeah, I think, yes, I heard about it. I don't remember off the top of my head. It won't surprise me once I see it.
You know it's the big guy, the big villain. King?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. So Kingpin gets introduced. But they do such a great introduction of, they're now taking, okay, well, Kingpin was definitely part of Daredevil, but Kingpin's also a main villain inside of Spider-Man. So now you're seeing the three series connect, and it's turning out to be such an awesome series. And I honestly can't wait till season 2 of that comes out. Scarlet Witch's sister is in there too, and she, like, her and Kate's interaction's hilarious. I mean, those two alone, you almost forget that Hawkeye's even in it, that Clint's in it, and you're like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, he's in this shit.
Oh yeah.
It's not just about these two girls.
And I mean, it makes sense now too that they introduced Daredevil in the Spider-Man movie.
Yep, and No Way Home.
That I guess I had a small glimpse of him in it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I guess I haven't seen No Way Home because I don't go to the movie theaters a lot because I got kids.
No, we took ours to see it. They all 3 enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think my now 5-year-old would sit through that movie.
Our 5-year-old, she sat through it. She loves Spider-Man though, so she was all about it.
Yeah, maybe
she really enjoyed it.
It's coming to Redbox next week, so it's fine. I'll rent it then.
Yeah. Well, then going back to what WandaVision opened up, what now the Doctor Strange movie coming up, how crazy that seems like it's going to be because everything that they're teasing in it. But I don't know.
That's the movie that I'm so scared of. Like, not scared of, oh my god, it's going to be terrifying. It's like, it's going to be like so many video games are. High bar has been set. Every time they release more information, like the fact that Sir Patrick Stewart's going to be coming back and reprising his role. He's in it. And then
just teasing that part.
Yeah, and then
insane.
Somebody went to IMDb and what's his name from Day of the Dead? Or not Day of the Dead. Is it? Damn it, I can't think of his name now. I'm gonna have to look this up. But there's another character was teased as well.
Because I know obviously Professor X is teased.
Yes. Well, he's listed. So he's actually listed on the top build cast. So he's listed in Multiverse of Madness. He's in there.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
God, there we go.
Bruce
Campbell was released, I think, just like 2 days ago as being inside of Multiverse Madness. So he's a relatively new, and that's blowing things up as well. So I mean, it's the fact that they're slowly but surely releasing more cast members into it, and we're seeing a bigger glimpse of it. It's set up to succeed, but that's where the problem lies in and of itself. Of we're going to see all these great cast members. We're going to have all these great potential leaps and bounds of, even bringing the Fantastic Four. But which Fantastic Four are we going to get? The reboot with the shitty thing, or the original where, you have a decent cast, but also has Chris Evans as the Torch, which would be a great way for Chris Evans to come back into the MCU, but as the Torch instead of Captain America, and they could, do inside jokes in there.
I want the shitty YouTube version.
I don't even want
That's the Fantastic Four that I want.
No.
The one that looks like the thing has been just an orange painted Hulk suit.
Pretty much. Jesus. No, we like, and
But with
you have Deadpool potentially introducing into it. He's easy. He doesn't even need to be. They don't need to visit his universe or his realm because they set that up at the end of Deadpool too, because he was jumping.
Oh, he can jump into anybody's pretty much. So, but is Army of Darkness, is that owned? That's not Marvel. That is it? I'm curious with the whole Bruce Campbell thing. If
I know, I want to
if it
say
is
it's
or
owned
not.
by. It's technically owned by Disney now, which is why they probably can do it.
Okay, because I'm wondering if they're going to try and have, because I did see, obviously I don't know if it's fan art or not, but some of the zombie side of stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
which makes me wonder if anything in
okay. So yes,
is going to be Bruce Campbell.
The Army of Darkness is a 5-issue 2007 comic book limited series published by Marvel Comics,
Okay.
in association with Dynamite Entertainment. So yes,
So do they
shit,
use
they're
that
doing
side to try and introduce zombie side of?
That's actually what the comic book is about. It says the first comic book is Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness.
I'm the smartest man alive. I just connected everything.
Oh my god, you can use Google.
So I mean, if that's the case, though, and Bruce Campbell's going to play that one, if that's the the slight angle they use or not, that'd be kind of cool though, with having Bruce Campbell as himself doing that.
But see, that's where like the speculation lies: is he coming back as just himself as in the world, or is he coming back as Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness?
Just a cameo or the actual.
So that's where like, and the same can kind of be said with Patrick Stewart, even though his cast bill already says Professor Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
But again, is that actually him? Is it going to be him using telepath to communicate with everybody, or is it going to be him using Cerebro to talk with everybody as he's finding the mutants?
Yeah,
there's a lot there.
Yeah, the speculation of everything is going to happen with this movie until it comes out, and I mean it's going to be probably one of the biggest ones since Endgame, possibly, because of everything that can happen within it or with it.
But it's just a matter of how well do they work with it. I think it does have to be like a 2-hour plus movie. It cannot be anything shorter than 2 hours.
Oh no, not at all.
Honestly, I would say it has to be 3+ hours if they're going to introduce all these top bill, not only like actors but characters inside the MCU as well. Whether the 80s and 90s MCUs or the 20th century MCU, like regardless, they're going to have to give enough screen time for certain ones to where they can make the proper connections, so where it's not just here's Professor X. Okay, cool. So you got two.
You just gotta leave that hanging there. Yeah.
Why we introduce him then? Especially seeing as when they shot and released Logan, Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman both stepped away from their roles, quote, permanently and indefinitely. And they would never come back to play those roles. They were done playing them. And now we have Patrick coming back as Professor X, and that leads to the speculation of, well, he's coming back. Maybe they can get Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine. seeing as Hugh Jackman's been pretty adamant about. Nope, I'm good. I did my 10 years with that.
If he doesn't do it for Deadpool, then I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds has been fighting that one for how long now?
11 plus
Haunting
years.
him and teasing him.
I mean, I think if Hugh Jackman could be the one that could get away with like a cameo, like a legit cameo of just Deadpool hopping around the universes, and or even like he gets introduced into Multiverse of Madness and he does a flashback where he's explaining how he's able to time travel, and then he shoots into even old Logan where they have a stupid conversation and it's just a 1 minute to 2 minute exchange and then it flashes forward again. That would be enough to say, well, he didn't reprise his role, but he is in it.
So is Doctor Strange the next one to come out?
I don't know.
There's so many coming out this year, including
that's the thing,
Disney Plus shows too.
Yeah, I get all the movies and TV series mixed up because Moon Knight comes out on the 30th of March, so here real soon. And then we have literally that comes out 3 days before WrestleMania, and then we have Miss Marvel was just announced, and that looks good. I think we have a couple TV shows, but I think Morbius is next, but that's Sony.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one. That's only supposed to come out like last 2 years, which looks great.
Year and a half.
It's it looks really good.
And again, I'm happy they postponed it and keep pushing it back as long as it turns out to be a worthwhile endeavor and not just a piece of shit movie that we're now like, oh, you could release this crap last year.
Yeah.
So I think it looks really good. I actually just read something about the director and producer where they were really concerned with Jared Leto and his behavior about taking on the role of Morbius, is the fact that he kind of did like Heath Ledger did with the Joker, is he got himself really, really involved into the character. He really studied the character. He became methodical with it, and he was
he's a very method actor.
Yeah, and he was representing Morbius like the character would have in the book, and they were saying that even after production was over and they were done shooting everything, that they were still checking in on Leto and they were making sure that he's still good, he's fine, he's still there, even mentally, because they didn't want to have an incident like they did with Heath Ledger, sadly. So they were on him for probably, I think, a week or two afterwards, and they were so concerned because he was still so much like his on-screen character versus who he is in real life.
Yeah, with having a method actor like that, I can see it. And he's talked about how he definitely dives deep into his characters to be as realistic as possible.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned that with the Joker when he took that persona on. He's like, that was excruciating on him even. So I mean, it's one of those like cheesy line, but diamond in the rough type actors where you want them to be like that. That's how you want all your actors to be, so where it becomes such a raw, emotional connection and it feels real, even though it's a completely fake story and fake movie, but you have this real connection with them. You're like, all right, perfect. He seems like he could really be Morbius, or he could really be the Joker. Same with like the Ledger or Heath Ledger. He could have been Joker. He played the Joker so well that he legitimately could have been Joker with no issue in real life. That's how well they played their roles.
Yeah, and Heath Ledger's Joker is one of the best, but also one of the most different ones.
Yep.
Fit the movies, because I still think Jack Nicholson's fit Michael Keaton very well.
They offset the Batman very well with those two.
Yes.
So, and I honestly still think if Leto was given a proper chance at playing the Joker in a full movie focused with him as the main villain, or even a side villain, like 2-3 villains and whatever, I think Leto could be a real awesome Joker, but they would have to let him be him, and DC won't let that happen, because that's kind of what they do. And you see even with like Gal Gadot talking about Wonder Woman, is they stifle so many things where they don't want a character portrayed a certain way. They don't want them to be, quote, too strong or too evil or too wicked or too pure, because it's not realistic. But it's true to the comics. So I think that's where DC runs into problems, though, is they can cast top actors and actresses, but they can't utilize them properly, or they'll cast, Will Smith, for example, just cause. Like, they didn't need him in the first Suicide. They didn't at all.
No.
Could have been anybody
I also
else.
think if they had Leto play the storyline of the broken Robin character, with all of the stuff that he had, the tattoos that he had, was it damaged across his forehead, everything like that? Or do you think that's the? Well, I don't care which Robin it is of storyline that they break him, pretty much, and he becomes.
That too.
What's that?
I just finished the video game that talked about him too. I can't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I can't remember which one it was, but
they did such a good job of setting up for a broken Robin and saying this is what happened, but they fucked up. There's really no sugarcoating. They fucked it up, and I like Will Smith as an actor, but I think that's where it went wrong, is the fact that they brought Will Smith on it and did not let them play out the story of why Joker is the way he is, and give his backstory of, I actually used to work for or with the Bat, because we see Batman come in the first Suicide Squad and pull Harley Quinn out, and that would have been a great segue of, why'd you do that, or anything, and then the Joker could have said, no, you don't understand how bad of a person he actually is, let me tell you, and then we get a flashback to when he was Robin, before he was Joker, instead of pure Joker.
Yeah, so there's just so many things that could have happened with that one. It could have really cool. But yeah, I do agree. I think the fact that they brought Will Smith in screwed some things up and kind of altered a lot of the things.
Yeah.
The way the story was going to go.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but but I think that's why their TV series is so successful, though, is they don't cast top bill actors and actresses, whereas Disney / Marvel likes to cast top bill actors and actresses, which can make a TV series almost off-putting.
Yeah.
Him again?
Why? Yeah, and the way I see a lot of superhero movies is if you take unknown actors and make them the characters, then they make it their own, and they're not stuck or followed by their previous work. Yep. Like Will Smith. I mean, he's been in hundreds of movies.
But then you get the flip side of that, though, because look at Robert Pattinson. He's been ranked on the top 3 Batmans of all time, and he's been plagued by Twilight for so many years.
True, but I don't think it's been seen by a lot of the same people that see.
It's hard to tell.
I've never seen Twilight, so I have no idea.
I have lots of times. I've dated people.
No, I've never seen them, and I think it's better that I haven't, so I don't have to sit there and compare him to a glittery, glowing.
But see, that's my biggest pet peeve, though, when people make those comparisons of like, well, he played Harry Potter. Daniel Radcliffe can't be freaking Wolverine, or he can't be Batman. He played Edward. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I don't think he can play Wolverine either.
They play other roles, right? Like, they're not defined. Like I get Alfonso, who played Carlton. I get he got fucked early on because he played Carlton through all of Fresh Prince, that he was unable to get another role because they always wanted to cast him as the same character style of Carlton from Fresh Prince, and he didn't want to be cast like that anymore. So yeah, I get that happened, but that's on the casting director's side, not us, the viewers, the people who are watching it. And the amount of times, and I'm so sick of hearing, even in Reddit threads everywhere, where it's just Robert Pattinson shouldn't be Batman. He played freaking Edward in Twilight, so he knows how to play a bat. He's a vampire. Cool. Even better.
No, I got lucky because I didn't see him, so I was able to kind of just watch it and not judge him off of that one. But as far as Harry Potter trying to play Wolverine, I can't see that one.
I could. I could because one, he was a literal child all throughout Harry Potter. Literal child. Now a lot of Daniel Radcliffe's new stuff, um, was it Kimbo was the one where he's a crazy crackhead looking guy shooting. He did really
Yeah, I
good.
haven't seen it though.
I know, but like if you go watch his new stuff, I
Mhm.
watch Harry Potter. I grew up reading the books. Like I know Harry Potter. Cool, but I can also differentiate and separate myself from the two characters. I'm not like, well, Harry Potter wouldn't have done that. Harry Potter would have said, "Fuck." Harry Potter would just cast the spell.
No, I don't think it's the fact that I would compare him like actual Harry Potter character. It's just way he is acted in those movies. But I don't know. Be a difficult one for me to see because especially for Wolverine, I think just because that's a huge character.
It is.
It's a big character to
It
fill
is,
the
but
shoes after Hugh Jackman too. So
I mean, the same could be said for like Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, really anybody from Marvel. There's really like could I imagine somebody ever playing Spider Man as well as Holland? No. Will there be? Yeah. I don't think they'll do an Iron Man. They'll probably do Iron Heart and have her come in.
yeah,
Uh, if they do an Iron Man, it will be Tony Hawk's daughter. If they do a Captain America, it has to be Falcon or Winter Soldier. But even then, it's not really Captain America, and he'll always be judged for not being the real Captain America. He's just Falcon.
I
Um,
would just have the comic book spinoff. So at that point,
yeah,
if the storyline follows it,
but that's the thing. Captain America was Falcon, Winter Soldier, Great Britain, or Captain Britain at a time, Peggy Carter. Like so many people have played Captain America in the comic books. But when you're talking about a movie adaptation, people will forever compare whoever plays Captain America to Chris Evans' Captain America. Just like whoever plays Wolverine will forever be compared to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And
Mhm.
let's be real, the first couple X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman were rough. He got better with age.
I think
And
every X Men movie was rough.
I like Wolverine. That's one of my top favorite characters. I like Wolverine.
I
So
wasn't a fan of the X Men movies. First ones I liked. I think it's once the third one happened,
mhm.
didn't enjoy it, and then after the new, what's it called? They introduced like the younger ones,
X-23.
new class or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Those ones
yeah.
I couldn't enjoy them.
No, they that was definitely a feel for what felt like a multiverse was coming with
Mhm.
introducing a new class, but they fucked it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
they tried, and I think they missed.
but then you have, but let's flip it though, because we talked praises about Marvel and a few downsides, but then you flip it on DC, and they've dropped the ball on a lot of the movies, like Superman. It should have been so good, and there was moments in it that it felt like they held the strings back a little bit, and they didn't want to push Henry Cavill's character that far in Superman, and they should have let him. Or the Batman, there's way too many fucking Batmans. None of them are synonymous with the
Batman is
DCEU.
a Spider Man of Marvel.
Yeah, it's just they and they were doing well when they announced Justice League. They fucked it up by one letting Zack Snyder go, but two, having a Justice League before having four separate movies for all of them. Like the Flash
Mhm.
should have had a movie. Cyborg even should have had a movie, and then of course that's Teen Titan character, but Cyborg would make sense to tie into Justice League later, so where you can bring in the Teen Titans as well, because
Oh,
essentially
yeah.
just a step down. Have a legitimate Batman movie. Have a Wonder Woman should have portrayed before. Have Aquaman come before, and bring it all together. Versus here's Superman. We're gonna keep that Superman movie. So all these Supermans are going to tie into Justice League. but you're not going to know about the other three characters. So good luck.
They're just gonna show up.
Yeah, and it made no sense. Like, it made no sense why Wonder Woman was coming from, I think, London or New York at the time. But if you would watch Wonder Woman 1982 or 84, whatever the movie's called, you would have saw why. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
You had to wait how many years?
Yeah, but you had to, like, what, 5 years? 4 or 5 years after?
Roughly.
It made no sense. And then you got Aquaman, and now you're getting Aquaman 2, which... Side note, did you see what DC did after the release of Batman?
Oh, I did not.
Okay, so during the Batman movie, when it launched that weekend, they had all these trailers and they were saying coming soon this year, blah 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 blah. 4 or 5 movies. The Aquaman, Flash, and 3 other movies, whatever. But they were all supposed to come out before the end of this year. Aquaman coming out at the very end because it was going to debut the same time Avatar 2 came out. But
They want to compete.
they don't. Well, so that's what they won't say they don't want to compete with Avatar 2, but they don't. And it's not even because it's Avatar. It's the fact that there are hundreds and hundreds of millions of signatures boycotting Aquaman 2 to just go see Avatar 2 the day of its release because of Amber Heard. Like, nobody wants to even touch Aquaman 2 because of Amber Heard. And the fact that they still keep her in there rather than just saying, oh, let's cut our loss.
Really?
She's literally going to be the reason why that movie tanks. But yeah, anyways, so those 4 movies were supposed to come out this year, and they all got pushed back to next year, literally 3 or 4 days after the trailers. And then I think last week, possibly at the beginning of this week, I think it was last week though, they announced, okay, nope, we're wrong. 3 movies are going to come out this year. Aquaman will still come out in December at the end of the year after Avatar 2, so where it's not competing, and they can end the year on a high note, supposedly, and then the other 3 movies will come out later. So they went back and forth, and that's the problem with another problem with DC is they cannot stick to a solid timeline, and they have too much controversy in one movie right now that will forever plague that movie until Amber Heard unfortunately is released from it, because everybody will forever side with Johnny Depp over it. So
Yeah, and she's a gem.
she's a
Everything
tornado.
she's done, but when you take Aquaman as roughly one of your most successful movies, it is one of the biggest jokes of a superhero.
Yeah.
Is
Like the fish.
insane.
Did you see that reporter, by the way? I don't remember what red carpet event it was. Oh man, but Jason Momoa was there, and the reporter goes, "So how big was the fish?" And he just goes, "Oh, not cool, man," and walks away. And then a few moments later, he comes back and he's like, "Okay, that was kind of funny," and just walked away again because it came after Peacemaker's comment.
Yeah,
Just like,
it was.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Momoa himself he's an awesome actor, and seeing him he's played multiple other movies as well before he did Aquaman, and he just fit Aquaman. He's just a badass, and it fit.
But I think that's why he's cast as Aquaman, though. Is Aquaman is, he's the bitch of Justice League. But if it's Jason Momoa, no one's gonna think that. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, Aquaman."
I mean, yeah, you're right. Just having that and the way that he carries himself and everything else definitely helps it.
I mean,
I mean, minus the werewolf movie that he did, but
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Yeah, he would be one that I want so badly to be inside an MCU movie, preferably as a villain, or even not a villain, not a hero type thing. Anti-hero like Deadpool and even Moon Knight and Morbius. Just he's neither good nor bad.
There's that there's a DC villain, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but his it's like a biker banshee style. I can't remember his name, but he's similar to Deadpool, the DC side.
Well, you have
And
Deathstroke, who is similar to Deadpool, and it's where
yeah,
Deadpool
that's a straight ripoff.
Yeah.
It's he's a fourth wall character like that, but he's a villain.
Oh.
He, uh, they've actually teased him in making the movie for it, but I can't remember what it
Well,
is.
they tease a bunch of things and never do it.
Yeah, it's I can't. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I'm trying to remember what it is. I mean, having him play that character would have been great, but you have to have obviously you're not gonna be able to take him from Aquaman and put him in that.
It's not Silver Banshee, is it?
No, it's like
That's good because this is either
Lobo.
a dyke or a
No, it's Lobo. It's who it is.
Lobo. Okay. Oh yeah.
That's who I think would fit Moa.
Oh yeah. He could play Lobo so well. Just it'd be so amazing actually if he could do that, but
It would, but now
he can't.
oh, so now trying to figure out who would play that one,
Mm,
I think is a good one.
the I don't watch the show, so I don't know his name. But from Son of Anarchy or the biker show, and the one that the one who got the spin off, whoever the main blonde headed guy that everybody loves so much in there, he would be a good fit for Lobo.
You know Charlie Hunnam
Sure.
played Jax.
Sure. I don't know. Let's see. I'm so terrible with freaking
Well, he's one of the main characters, but then there's also another guy on there who played Opie.
I think Opie is it. I think Opie's the one.
Opie was his friend, the one that died in prison. And if you look at him, yeah, with the beard and everything else, he could. I mean, he's a bigger dude as well.
I mean, Charlie Hunnam, he would be a good one. Yeah, I think that's who I was thinking of. Where are you?
Opie or Charlie Hunnam?
And then Ryan Hurst, yes, both of those. Either one. Ryan Hurst, I think, would be better because Opie's who I was thinking of. But Charlie Hunnam would be another, like, he could do it, but maybe not as well. But both of those characters have potential, or both of those actors have potential to play a good.
Lobo's just one of those characters that it's another fourth wall style Deadpool character.
You know, but I mean that doesn't take much though. You just have to let the actor rift essentially and be able to get to that side of him. But again, you have to trust their acting skills and be willing to take maybe one or two takes and just be done with it, rather than nope, cut, let's run it again. Nope, cut, run again. Didn't feel right. All right, well, it's not natural anymore. It's still scripted.
Yeah. There's so many other characters that they could do that I think would work. It just takes the balls to do it.
That's the other thing, though, and Marvel has this issue, too, and they're getting better about it right now, is DC is so fixated on Batman. Always Batman. Superman. Always Superman. Now Aquaman. Now Wonder Woman. Cool. Flash. Arrow. Supergirl. Cool. Get rid of these. You want to actually be good and have great movies? Get rid of these mainstream, well-known superheroes and villains. Get rid of them. Bring in these off-the-wall superheroes that people have never heard of unless they truly read the comic books. Bring in the villains that people have not heard about unless they truly read the comic books or they know anything about it. So it's not just, oh, I know Batman because I saw the Bat logo at Walmart. I know who he is. But do you know he's actually like he can be an asshole. He's a righteous asshole, but he can be an asshole. And while he doesn't kill people in a comic book, he has killed a person before. And there's always this boundary and stuff, but the way the images push is one image, 12 movies. I think Robert Pattinson's version of the Batman, where you get to see more of how he develops into becoming the Bat, rather than he's already established as the Batman. He's becoming him. You get to see him progress through and get into filling the shoes and understanding why. So,
yeah, and I want to see different villains. I'm tired of seeing Joker. Riddler's been done. Penguin's been done. I do like how they're doing the Riddler in the new one. I haven't seen the new one yet,
I haven't
But
either. I know enough what's going on in it.
I've seen pictures of him and everything else, and I do like how they're doing it. That style, it just kind of looks like, because I really like the Scarecrow character
Yep.
they used. I really like that one. I wish I'd use him more because that's an awesome character,
Oh,
and he's underused like crazy.
oh my god, so much. He would have such a good series. Not only like to introduce him into the movies, but they could do a legit like TV series to tie his character into the movie even better, so where you understand the fear gas and like what it actually does and why he's developing this, and that even ties into the Joker though. It's like you can have it segue in. That's how the Joker gets brought in. Scarecrow brings in so many people with his fear gas, and it's not a known thing unless you've read the comics. So, or played Arkham Knight.
Yeah. Which I mean, the Arkham Asylum game in itself too. That was fun as hell.
all the
In that
Batman
one.
games were fun. All of them. I mean, Steam
So I
won't
think
let me play
having,
them, but
I think also having Mark Hamill voice Joker, reprise his
yes,
role as that was great too.
yes. I think
I
if
would
they
like
could,
love to see him do more.
I would. If they could somehow do, it would have to be almost like a CGI, like Rocket and Groot from Marvel. But if they could figure out a way to almost CGI the Joker in and just have Hamill voice it, it would be such a phenomenal character because Mark Hamill does such a great voice of the Joker in all the cartoon series and all the animated series.
Mhm.
But they would have to be able to create a Joker like inside the movies where it worked properly. Or even if it was take Scarecrow again, if it was Scarecrow and Joker having a conversation over the phone and we never saw the Joker and we just heard him, and that's all we ever got was just voices of the Joker. And it'd be a very good way to have Joker be a part of the franchise without him being in the franchise himself. And if they wanted to bring back Leto as the new Joker, it could be Hamill doing or Leto doing flashbacks with Hamill's voice, and you just see Leto's being Robin and just getting the shit beat out of him by someone. We don't have to see who. We don't have to physically see their face, but all we hear is Mark Hamill's voice. It could be done. It would be such a great tie-in, such a great evolution of Leto's Joker, properly done. It would be like, oh, perfect, amazing.
Yeah, and I think also there's another older actor that you could use that I don't know if you've seen any fan art of it, but William Dafoe as
Yes.
the Joker.
I mean, he has the
The way
face
that
for it.
he's done, what's that?
He has the face for it.
He does. He has the exact face for it, and the way he did the Green Goblin,
Mm-hmm.
I think voiced that one and the way he carried that one, I think he could do also a Joker character.
Oh yeah.
Not not as well voiced as Hamill, but I think he could carry his own or make his own Joker out of it.
He could definitely do it. I mean, it would. I think the only way you could get those two type of actors to do it would again have to either be a pure voiceover where you never see them, or if you want to do William Dafoe as the Joker and have him come in, it would have to be almost like Joker retired type thing, where
To
he's
Jared Leto.
yeah, like he's passed the torch to Jared Leto, but that would be the only way it would work. Is it would have to be them passing the torch to somebody else. So where
And I think that would work.
yeah.
But I think the only one that can honestly pass the torch would be Hamill
Oh yeah.
because being Joker for so many years, voice and everything
Still,
else.
I think he still voices Joker on Batman series. I don't think he stepped away from that yet.
No, because I think he did the last video game too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's any voiceover he can get, he does.
Yeah. I mean, he does so many. I mean, I just found out he did a bunch the other month where I was like, oh my god, and I had to sit there and listen to it, and I go, yep, yeah, that's Hamill. Now that I know that's Hamill, yeah, I hear that voice, but he does such a great job of masking, that Luke Skywalker voice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's crazy.
but yeah,
How many voices he's done for that?
all right, so we can dedicate the rest of this fucking podcast to this. Let's move on. We're 50 minutes into this.
Hey,
We'll have time. We'll have plenty of time. Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna skip though. We will come back to Marvel and DC. Like we said, we could honestly do this probably for weeks of just fucking Marvel and DC. Preferred
Yeah.
cast, ideal cast, who should go, who should never have became a superhero or villain. Yeah, so many of them. But like you were saying at the top of the hour, though, I'm gonna correct you though. WWE WrestleMania 38 is April 2nd and 3rd, which is 2 weeks away.
Shit, it's 2 weeks.
I'm not good
Whatever.
with math, but it's more than a week.
It's 2 weeks.
Anyways, so it's going to be real soon. But with that said, they still have 2 more SmackDowns to air and another episode of Raw to air. Right now, they're slated for 11 matches, and the KO show making it 12. But at the same time, there's a lot of these rumors and speculations going around. I'm sure you've seen. If you haven't, we'll talk into it, because then I can actually get legit feedback on it. So the biggest thing is there's still being 3 more episodes to go before WrestleMania. So many things can change. So many things can be added. So many things can be removed. Injuries like Big E's, where he got dropped on his head on SmackDown.
That was nasty.
I don't think. God damn it! Why can't I think of the wrestler now? Happy Corbin's sidekick. Fuck. I can't think of his name now. Anyways, the wrestler that tossed Big E and caused him to land on his head, he's no longer getting the big push. Oh, it wasn't Happy Corbin. It was Sheamus's buddy. That's right.
The dude got his face broken Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So
Can't remember his name.
It doesn't matter. He's not getting a push anymore. Clearly, you can already tell they've kind of started sidelining him because of what he did to Big E and the fact that they botched the move so bad that Big E has a C1 spinal injury, which should have left him paralyzed or dead. From what all the reports are saying about the C1 vertebrae being like, it's one of those, like, if you get injured by it, it's career-threatening, life-ending type thing. So the fact that he's not paralyzed or dead is fantastic. But that scrapped the New Day's WrestleMania, unless they somehow bring Xavier Wood back. I know he was at live shows this week, but big whoop. He's too busy with G4 TV right now.
He's deep into it. He's loving it.
Oh yeah, I mean he does great on it. It's where he thrives. I'm not knocking it. I don't think they can bring him back. Just like they can't bring back John Cena anytime soon. He's too busy with other shit. But
Became Peacemaker.
Yeah, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yes.
But I totally just got sidetracked. Yay.
But I think with that move though that happened with Big E is, do you put it all on one? Because it looked like Big E didn't tuck as well as he should have. But again, I'm not a wrestler, so
Me neither. Based upon everything I was reading and even articles and reports and interviews and everything by other wrestlers, wrestlers trust their opponents. About 60% is how at least most of the wrestling industry sees it. Is the opponent that's pulling the move off is 60% required to do the effort. But there's people saying, Big E didn't launch himself high enough into his arms to be tossed over. They're saying he launched himself too high. There's some saying he didn't put enough momentum behind it when he did jump into the arm for the belly to belly. He should have pushed a little bit harder, causing the momentum. So it's kind of almost a 50-50 split from the sounds of it. But at the same time, since the matches are no longer actually practiced to that extent, it's more of, here's the spots. These are big spots. Let's practice this. Everything else, for the most part, is not as scripted as people think anymore. So it's one of those, like, it's hard to say, but from the way, I think it was Bruce Pritchard or Khan from WWE who said that it should have never happened if he didn't if he didn't think he could pull that move off with a big of opponent as big he is. If not just like weight wise, he's also a big dude. Like he's very muscular, and you have to get your arm all the way around him. And there's reports saying Rich Holland. There we go. God, that's bugging me. Rich Holland didn't grab him well enough as he should have. So I don't know. It just sounds like they're not very happy with Holland's character and the fact that they brought in Butch.
He's kind of a jobber character, anyways.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
Pete Dunne was such a good character on NXT though. Like his character was good on NXT. He wasn't much of a jobber, and now he's gonna be a jobber.
I mean, in NXT, I don't think every NXT character that succeeds on NXT as well is a main card personality.
But is it because they truly are not, or is it because creative / Vince doesn't let them be?
That is another thing too. There's a huge gap there because there's reports of was it SmackDown or all last week, whichever it was, that McMahon was too in depth with a lot of the matches.
He's always,
and he pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, he's always. Some weeks he's not involved at all. Other weeks he makes the writers write it up into an hour before just to scrap all of it. So it's so hard to say. It's to the point where he needs to kind of step back. I know why he's not. Like, I get it. It's his company. He bought it from his dad. He even said his dad would never let him do what he's doing and never let him do what he did in the past. Like, his dad would have been so pissed with him. So, but I get it. When it's your baby, when it's your company, why don't you want to see it all the way through until you can no longer? But he does need stuff.
Who does it go to at that point?
Don't know.
You know, Stephanie and Triple H can't do it. I mean, Triple H is almost he's got a heart problem now that he's dealing with.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people. Speculation was stated that either Shane or Stephanie, but Vince has came out and said it's not necessarily going to go to family. It could be. It's not Tony Khan's AEW, but the other Khan that's WWE. I can't remember his name, Steve or whatever. There's speculation it'd be him, maybe Bruce Pritchard. It could be someone completely different. It's hard to say, but there's also speculation about whether or not they get bought out by Amazon or Disney or Warner Brothers, which I think Warner Brothers just got absorbed by Discovery, which Discovery is owned by Disney. So
a lot of weird things are happening, absorptions and
mergers and
things like that. So it's hard to see what's going to happen, but I don't think it's anybody in McMahon family tree, bloodline, anything that I think will get that. I do think the Khans take over somehow, and I don't, I can just make cliche or whatever, but The Rock, I think, is one that a lot of people have said should run it.
I mean, he's been interviewed about it before too. If he would do it, he said, "Well, I'll never say no because I mean, if I did, I'd be a liar because I just bought he just bought the football franchise, from Vince McMahon, and he would be the next candidate."
He's one of the co-owners with, I believe it's with one of the Khans.
Yeah.
Well, so
and his wife or his ex-wife, him and his ex-wife own it, but one of the Khans are also involved. So it's I could see it being whoever the Khan's name is, Khan somehow getting the position as CEO and chairman, and then truly opening that quote forbidden door and allow superstars to travel freely like AEW lets them, where they can go be in New Japan or Lucha Underground or wherever else they want to be. They don't have to be in AEW anymore. They can travel and compete everywhere. I could see them saying, well, now that Vince is out, let's open this door. Let's do a legitimate brand warfare or franchise warfare like WCW and WWE back in the day. Let's do these invasions or let's do these trades. Let's make it like real where we're truly competing for ratings and everything instead of we're going to do a brand split, Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah.
6 weeks into it. Oh, don't forget, once a month, a Raw superstar can go to SmackDown, and SmackDown can go to Raw. Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly.
Like, what?
With AEW is, they're open with everything, but there's a lot of heat coming from AEW since they bought Ring of Honor, and there's talks of just squashing everybody from Ring of Honor that they're saying that they're not needed.
Well, because Discovery is trying to get AEW, or they have a deal with AEW with something, but they said the Briscoe brothers could not come in because they don't like what one of them tweeted back in 2013. They made a very homophobic tweet. Yeah, I know. We're not getting into it. We said no politics, no religion. But the tweet was, quote, homophobic. I didn't read it. I don't care to read it. It was 10 years ago almost. Grow the fuck up. But they said they don't want the Briscoes in there, and if they won't relinquish the belts, the Ring of Honor Championship belts, then they have to do something about it because they have it right now, and AEW owns Ring of Honor, but AEW is also in some type of contractual deal with, I want to say, Discovery, because they're trying to get streaming rights where you can now stream AEW like you can WWE on Peacock and Hulu. So I don't know. It's they have a lot of stuff going on over there, and I would love for this forbidden. I hate the fucking thing. The forbidden door to be open and let these competitors come back and forth, because I think it would be awesome, especially like WrestleMania type event where a big match like Lesnar versus Reign, where it's a title unification, whoever wins, and all of a sudden you see Hangman Page rush through the crowd, or his song goes off and he rushes down the ramp and he goes one-on-one with Reigns or Lesnar, whoever, and it teases a dream match between these two companies. Like, that would be, in my mind, that would be such a cool way of sending off for the night. Like, well, what the fuck just happened here? Isn't he AEW? I thought, hold on. But I think with Vince McMahon still in play, that will never happen, especially with so many WWE superstars being over on AEW. I don't think it would ever happen. Like, there's certain ones that will never come back.
They just released so many of them
because of budget
over the past 2 months. Yeah.
But don't worry, we just got $500,000 in profits last month. Don't look into that though. Don't.
Not at all. Ignore this one.
But I mean, you have, I want that feud like WCW and WWE have, but I don't want it to be where one brand just gets absorbed or nixed, whatever. Because that was always one of the cool things, is you could tune in to WCW and see if D-Generation X was gonna invade and take on the likes of Nash and Razor Ramon and even Flair and Mysterio and everybody who's back then. So it was such a cool time that it gave so much more depth to the wrestling community rather than just, here's WWE.
Yeah.
They're competing.
I mean, speaking of that too, we didn't mention, but RIP to Scott Hall, who just passed away.
Yep, on Monday. Or Tuesday, sorry. This week. I'm getting confused now. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, somehow don't freaking know, get on the internet, guys. Come on. You're listening to the podcast. Scott Hall suffered 3 heart attacks on Sunday, and they're saying it's due to the hip replacement surgery he had. So it's complications, and then he was put on life support. The family gathered around, and once the family was all together, they pulled it, and he fought for his life for 4+ hours and sadly passed away. So we lost Scott Hall / Razor Ramon. So big hit to the wrestling community that day. So, and this week.
Yeah, I didn't see. Did they do something
on Raw
for him on Raw?
A little bit.
Because Corey Graves got kind of choked up.
Yeah, they did.
Talking about him.
They paid homage to him. They didn't do the 10-bell send off. It was just kind of probably a 3 to 5 minute, if that. I feel like it's probably 3 minutes or less. Send off of this is who Scott Hall was and what he did. But again, he was technically still fighting for his life at the top of the hour, but they knew when life support was plugged or pulled earlier before the show that he wasn't going to make it. It was just a matter of how long. So I'm sure they would rush to just even get that together. So tomorrow on Friday Night SmackDown, it'll be interesting to see if they just replay the footage or if they have something better. But for sure, they had to have something at WrestleMania to honor Scott Hall rather than just that.
I think it's too long though. Maybe what, almost 3 weeks after the fact. I mean, they can still do it for sure.
It
I don't know if they do it.
took them decades to do one for Andre the Giant when
That's
they
true.
did the memorial. I mean, they could do
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
true.
Like that was one of the rumors I read is they should do a ladder match, an intercontinental ladder match in honor of Scott Hall, because that's how he won his IC matches. He climbed the ladder, pulled it, and did his pose, and that's kind of where he started getting really, really big. So I mean, I would love to see that. If they don't do it for an IC match, I think they should do it for one of the matches, but definitely not for the Sami Zayn versus Knoxville now. Just never with those stupid celebrity matches.
That might be the only one that makes sense to use ladders in though.
No, they could do it for Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, or they could do it for several of these matches. Edge versus AJ Styles. So they could do it for more. I don't personally like the celebrity matches just for the pure fact it's more of a publicity stunt of, oh, look who we have.
Well, I mean, it is WrestleMania always has their celebrity
it's always
status
stupid.
stuff. It's not. I mean, it's not Pete Rose getting choke slammed every time like it has, but
like
I mean, there is
the only one that had a chance was when they had Floyd Mayweather on there. That had very big potential to be a good fucking match, and they made it a joke with the Big Show.
broke his nose though.
And
I don't know. The Tyson one wasn't bad. The referee.
no, that was a long time ago though.
Yeah. I mean, you look at. I mean, who are the? I don't know. I don't understand how or why Logan Paul made his way into WrestleMania, but
yeah, if somebody knows, I would love to know because that makes no fucking sense. Like I watched all the Raws, and I get that Logan Paul was on a previous pay-per-view, or he made an appearance, and he's made an appearance in like the KO show. He's made an appearance in the Miz talk show thing. How the fuck did he tie into WWE though?
I don't know. But
he's a fucking wannabe boxer. He's a joke of that.
Him and his brother. I mean, good on them for everything that they've done, the brand that they've made, for the shit that they've done for themselves, and the ignorance that they've put themselves through. And I hate both of them.
Oh, yeah.
But
I don't like either one.
Don't understand it, and he is tagging with the Miz against
the
Mysterio,
yeah,
and his son Dominic.
That's just it makes no sense, and the lead up to like that match makes no sense at all. Just look, I'm an A-lister, the Miz, and here's Logan Paul, a wannabe fucking boxer who only takes on easy opponents or opponents that will let him win.
Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, just a filler match because I don't even know anything about these guys having a rivalry or anything.
Well, the Miz has a small rivalry going on with the Mysterios, where he's called Dominic out and his father Ray and said, if you really want to get ahead, you need to leave your father behind. And of course, he's my dad. I'll never leave him behind. He taught me everything. Blah 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 blah. And then they had a match with the Miz, and I think the Miz won. And then it's been on and off again for like the last month and a half. It's not a good rivalry by any means. It's more of a, oh hey, cool.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I think it's more just to make Dominic have a star power behind him that he doesn't have already, because he is so synonymous right now with just being a Mysterio that it doesn't matter who he fights as long as he fights someone.
Yeah. So I mean, with all the matches and everything, do we want to start with the predictions and start from night one, or just kind of the list that we've made?
Let's do it the list I made because I did not do it night one, night two because
Okay.
I've been altering this thing for the last 2 weeks and matches have flip flopped. So
No, I
we,
can't. I completely forgot it
we
was.
can start
I'm
from the bottom and go up because the top ones have the big matches. So we can start from the bottom.
yeah.
And that's really just a
Which I honestly think the way you have it in the KO show, Kevin Owens with Stone Cold,
yeah.
you can honestly see that one starting off WrestleMania because
Maybe.
I think it is Stone Cold. I don't see him anywhere mid card
No.
or even towards the end. I do see it opening because I think it's going to be
It has to be
quick
a kickoff.
and painless because he only had I think what month and a half to prepare for it. He has said he's been preparing for it, but he's nowhere near where he should be at.
Well, not even because Kevin Owens called him out last Monday, and WrestleMania is 2 weeks away, so he's had 3 weeks, less than a month, so 3 weeks roughly.
I mean, he's known about it,
Yeah,
whatnot, but yeah,
he's
the
probably known
actual
about it for
acceptance
several
and
months.
everything. So, this one I don't know how much of a match it will be. I do think something will happen, but I don't know if it'll be. You'll definitely see a stunner and some beer, sure.
Yeah, I don't.
From who?
I think okay. So Stone Cold just released a new lager IPA. So I only mention that because I think that's going to come into play on WrestleMania. So I think it's going to be Stone Cold will somehow deliver a stunner to Kevin Owens. And if not, just like that, like Kevin Owens disses Texas and disses the rattlesnake and then stunner,
Hmm.
I think it will be they throw hands. Kevin Owens will try to do his own stunner just for Austin to reverse it, get out of it type deal, and hit him with his own. And then call the beers. And you know it'll be his own beer that comes out because why not? He just released his new beer line or his new lager. So I that's the only prediction I have for that is it will be a small bout, couple fists thrown, and then because he has to open up a can of whoop ass. He made that tweet. He made that video of I have enough in me to open up one last can of whoop ass. So,
And
I think they're gonna have Stone Cold go over and not Kevin Owens.
it's tough to see his age in that video showing. He definitely yes, he is older, obviously,
Old.
but I mean the man is still jacked in his own right for his age.
I think he looks better
You
now
definitely
than he did
see
when he was wrestling.
he's got I mean he definitely works out a lot more than he said he did back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think it's just mainly just to keep himself alive at this point.
Well, that and he has all that reality show going on too with the Broken Skull Ranch, so I think he has more of an appearance going on. But yeah, I mean, what do you think's gonna happen? Are you?
I mean, with that,
going-
I'm the same way with you. I think it's going to be Kevin Owens talk some shit because I mean they're in Arlington, Texas, so they're not going to have. I think Stone Cold because he lost his last match. What? And how long was that? Was it's The Rock? How many years ago? I know he said in his promo video, and I already forgot. 10+ years ago, but I can't remember how long.
I honestly,
But he lost his
could
last
not.
match, and having to come back at WrestleMania 38 and be in, you say, quote unquote, a match,
Yeah,
be in the KO show. I think, obviously, yeah, Stone Cold has a stunner, gets his beer, wins it, and walks out. Um, and maybe it won't kick off the show. Oh yeah, I think it will.
yeah.
I think it does kick off WrestleMania because I think that's one thing to open it, is to get Texas really, really going at that point with Stone Cold to kick it off,
Yeah.
do his own thing at that point. I think that will kick off the show.
I mean, if it's not kicking off day one, it's kicking off day two. But I'm pretty sure day one is what I read last. Was
Yeah.
It was day one. So, I mean, I think we're. I don't know if we're gonna disagree honestly on a lot of these, but I mean, we're both in kind of the same boat. Is it's going to be Stone Cold with the stunner of some sort and beer flies.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
as much as that's going to happen, I would almost bet money on it. I would, this is not my prediction. It's just something I think would be interesting to see. Would be to have Kevin Owens go over and essentially be past the torch in the stunner, and be like, okay, cool, you won, and have Stone Cold get the stunner, or even he thinks he hit Kevin Owens with the stunner. Kevin takes the stun, and Stone Cold gets up, does his little beer shit, and then Kevin Owens rises back up. And when Stone Cold gets down, Kevin hits him with a super kick, stuns him, and then he steals the beer. He goes up and mocks Stone Cold, because that would pop Kevin into that status and would still let Stone Cold get the moment he wanted, but end on it where it's no longer Stone Cold. It's now he's passed the torch to Kevin Owens. I don't think that will happen. That's a big,
Well,
that's a Hail
yeah,
Mary
no,
stretch, but
yeah, and I can see it too. That way too, or him standing over Stone Cold and then pouring his beer
yeah,
onto him, standing over him. The
insulting
beer,
him.
yeah.
Yep, I could,
No, I do see that too.
because you said you didn't watch this last week or this week's
No,
episode.
no, I didn't have a chance to.
So there's a small segment where he's Kevin Owens talking about the trash, and he's getting ready for his match with Seth Rollins, and they're talking about how Kevin or Stone Cold's releasing his new IPA on the 16th because it's Steve Austin Day, and he makes the comment. He's not on microphone. He's just talking to the ref. He's like, "What the? Why are we showing this crap? Why are we showing his beer? Nobody gives a crap about that. That's trash beer. Who would drink that trash?" Like, he just adds mouth. So the beer is going, like, the beer has to come into play somehow. And if Kevin Owens gets put over, it's going to be Kevin Owens pouring the beer on Stone Cold or mocking him. But I think pouring the beer is going to be how it would be done if Kevin Owens gets put over. That's just my opinion.
That'd be, yeah, that would definitely be cool to see.
I don't think it will, but
We'll see. No, I don't think we either. See.
So next up, we have women's tag team championship match. So right now, there's only 3 teams in it, and this is one of those matches that there's a rumor of a 4th team being added. So right now, it's Queen Zelina and Carmella, who are the champions. They are facing off against Sasha and Naomi, and then they're also facing Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. So the rumor is there will be another duo being added to this, making it a 4-way match. But there's no real storyline that I've noticed other than just Dewdrop and Nikki Ash, just being salty and bitter about it. But that's really about it. It's not really a storyline, more of a Dewdrop's trying to make a name for herself. But that's stupid name, Dewdrop.
One of the worst names to ever have Dewdrop.
Her NXT name, I forget what it was, but it was it's a lot fucking better than Dewdrop.
And there was a lot of superstars talking about how it's a slap in the face for her to have the name Dewdrop, and it's horrible.
Yep.
Just a horrible name. So
who do you have
with this one,
those 3 teams?
So my daughter likes the women's wrestling, and she's a big Naomi and Sasha Banks fan. She loves them, so I'll go with those 2.
You're gonna go with
That's
Sasha and
mine.
Naomi?
Yeah, I like both of them as well. She gets entertained when she watches them.
So, but who do you think they're gonna pin though? Do you think they're gonna actually pin the champs, or do you think they're gonna skate by and pin Rhea and Liv?
What I think is probably going to happen is Rhea Ripley's probably going to wreck house, and they're going to sneak in and take it.
Yeah,
What I think is it's going to be
be
more than likely Carmella being pinned after Rhea Ripley goes in and just destroys everybody.
But Carmella's been getting distracted a lot by Corey Graves at ringside.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the big factor this week, and I think last week too, where she cost Zelina the match because she got counted out or got distracted because she was outside the ring with messing with Corey Graves. Because they're a real life couple.
Yeah, so if it causes the problems there, so that can cause a headache between her and Queen, go back and forth, which then at that point, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you
So
have
you
Sasha
put
and
so many
Naomi,
people in
so
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, and as much as I like Sasha and Naomi, I like this match. I'm actually looking forward to because I really want Liv Morgan to finally get a fucking championship around her waist because she's such an overlooked superstar, and she's a hell of a wrestler. Like I haven't noticed a bad match once she separated from her trio group. She's been really good, but they just don't put her over as much. So I'm going with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and I think it's going to be the same predicament of Rhea Ripley just cleaning house. I think it's still going to be though. Zelina is going to get pinned by either Rhea or Liv clearly, but I think they're going to pull out some type of dual combo move or dual finisher where Rhea's
So
gonna
like
hit,
a dart.
yeah, where Rhea hits her finisher and then Liv hits hers, and then Selena's down while Carmella's being distracted by Corey. So
And isn't the Queen Zelina? She's like 2 foot tall, right? She's tiny.
she's
If I
so
remember right.
tiny. She's not 2 foot, but I think she's definitely under 5.
She's definitely. She has some traits.
Yeah, yeah,
She's tiny.
she's so tiny. But her husband's not much taller than she is, though. Alistair over in AEW is not much, or Malachi. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
he's not much taller. Like, have you seen them stand side by side? He's only like
Yeah.
a head taller.
No, I
I think
haven't.
she goes up to his shoulders. But if Malachi Black, also known as Alistair Black, if that guy is 6 foot, there's no way there's some bullshit going around because that means Alina is like 5'6", 5'8". I don't believe that, seeing as she stands next to
No,
Rhea and she's tiny.
when she was at the Royal Rumble, she was. I mean, the top of her head came up to the
Top rope.
near the middle rope.
And I think like when
And
she runs like Mysterio and she leans on that middle rope a lot. I
yeah,
don't think she
because I
leans on.
mean,
I think it's so much as like that's where her back.
the
She's
back of
like,
her head is at. It's yeah. That's like compared to like how Mysterio hits it. Like the top of her head was hitting the middle rope. That's not very tall.
no, it's
So,
not.
I mean, she's not very big,
No,
and I'd never heard of her. I'm just recently getting back into wrestling
that's
over the
fair.
past year or so. I watching Royal Rumble, watching her come out. I mean, she was definitely entertaining. I think I enjoyed it more just because I realized she was
She's
extremely
tiny.
tiny.
Yeah. So you just got into it after Alistair slash Malachi left WWE and went over to AEW.
Yeah,
So yeah, you didn't miss much. They underutilized both their characters. Alina actually left and came back, and part of her contract was she was to be given a championship and a unique, like once in a lifetime title, which is how she won Queen of the Ring. Was she came back after being like canned by WWE, and she won Queen of the Ring. So, but anyways, who cares? They're gonna lose, is what we're getting at. Sasha Naomi will win, or Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan will win. That's our two bets. And if you're watching this
I
on
do agree with
YouTube, you'll
that.
see it. You'll see the graphics. So next, then you have the Raw tag team, RK Bro, so Randy Orton and Matt Riddle versus Street Profit, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. So who you got? You got RK Bro or Street Profit?
Anybody but RK Bro. I can't stand Riddle.
Really?
I hate him. I can't. A buddy of mine loves him, and I can't stand him.
I,
I
I,
hate.
I can't stand him, but he's not terrible. He's just annoying.
He is annoying, and I don't know if I like him and Randy. I don't see him as an actual tag team, and I have a hard time if I don't see an actual tag team that I don't see them as the champions. Like the Street Profits, I like their whole thing, their whole gimmick. It works, and
Yeah.
I want to see, and I haven't for a long time, is to see a big push in the tag team
They never will.
this area of that as like Legion of Doom style,
Well,
just all that stuff.
even
How it was
Hardy
back in the day.
Boys, like
Yeah, I mean,
Attitude Era favored tag team, and now tag teams
I mean,
overlooked.
yeah, it is. It's way overlooked, and I want to see an actual tag team get it, run with it, and more unify all of the tag teams and have actual tag teams, not
Not
stupid
brand
storylines that
split.
brought guys together.
Yeah. Okay, so but Randy and Matt though, like they're one. It's such a funny combination because Randy, of course, is legend killer, very meticulous, very bad guy, very heel character,
Mm.
very evil, and then Matt Riddle is this stoner college kid with a UFC background. And it works because they're so polar opposites. Because you're gonna hate
Because
Riddle, and you're like, "Come on, Randy, just fucking RKO him." And even Randy Orton has even said this is the most fun he's ever had in his career. Is he loves
and I
doing
don't
tag
doubt it.
teams? So,
It
but
does. It does work. Just I want to see tag titles go to a tag team, and I want to see that push with tag teams again. I miss it. I miss the whole. I mean, just how it used to be.
so
Actual
this,
tag teams that did everything.
yeah, this is my thought. So I go with RK Bro. I don't think they're gonna put Street Profit over yet. I don't. I think that's gonna be a Survivor's match, if anything. I think they're gonna let Randy Orton have his 18th WrestleMania and be a winner. Um, so I think that's how it's gonna go because they just won the title back. I don't think they're gonna strip it from him 2 weeks later, or a month later, whatever. I think they're gonna put over RK Bro, and if they win, it's not going to be a clean win. I think it's gonna be that the Street Profits get themselves disqualified because they are very much showing signs of becoming a heel stable versus their baby faces that they normally are.
Mhm.
So I could see the Street Profits turning heel bad guys and getting themselves disqualified because they just get annoyed. Or America or the Alpha Academy comes in and fucks it up. Because that's the other rumor is Alpha Academy will be added this week or next. So who knows? I'm with you though. I think they honestly should just get rid of these brand titles and just go back to even like 10 years ago, I think, is when they split the tag teams up. But go back 10 plus years and say there's one men's title, either heavyweight or world, doesn't matter. There's one women's main title. There's one male tag team, and there's one women's tag team. And then, of course, US and IC. But I don't think they need 6 titles anymore. I think they need 4. And just leave it at that. Unify all of them, whether it's unifying Raw and SmackDown's women's or the tag teams. Like, they need to start progressing this way because this brand split is a joke to keep considering it's still going on. So it's one company, it's one brand. You're not fooling anybody anymore. So
No, I think once AEW is able to start streaming, that catches on. Like I think it's. I mean, it definitely has a cult following as of right now, and I think the ratings for it are doing great.
yeah,
There is potential, I think, for a war style to happen, and I think to save WWE, that has to happen.
yeah.
It's becoming very dry and
Oh,
boring.
so fucking dry, so dry. But you're watching wrestling now to be like, oh, who's gonna do what? Is WWE gonna try to top AEW, or is they just gonna do
Mm.
their own thing? So, uh, but speaking of tag teams, though, the next match is SmackDown's tag team, which is the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. So this one, like, I'm not even gonna deliberate much on it. I'm gonna say right now, I think the Usos are gonna win. I don't see them taking
I'm
the
with you.
titles away. So just
Yeah.
me. I don't think Shinsuke and him are gonna. There's no reason to push them. They're not a solid stable. They're pushing more for Rick to become independent. So makes no sense for them to give him a title.
No, it doesn't at all.
We're at an hour and a half, so let's get through this.
So we're into this joke of a match.
Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And do we really even pick anybody here, or do we go on a time limit, or
It's gonna be somebody for real. I mean, you're gonna have to. I I think it's going to be Johnny Knoxville that wins by DQ, pissing Sami Zayn off, and Sami Zayn's going to get himself disqualified. Just me.
Can see that because he does have his tantrums and stuff that he's been showing and all that stuff.
Yep. I don't see.
But I'm
Sami
wondering if
Zayn.
there's any type of outside interference that happens with this one, of it being.
How? Who would interfere other than
That's
other
what
members of the
I'm trying to think if there
Jackass
would be
family?
anybody that I don't know. Would there be more Jackass entourage to come out?
But that would be to get Sami Zayn disqualified and get him pissed off and annoyed. I mean,
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how much of a debacle this whole thing is going to be. There's no way it's going to be a straight up wrestling match.
either Sami Zayn's gonna hit the Blue Thunder Bomb or his kick in the corner, or whatever that is, and it's gonna be a quick match, like less than a minute, or it's gonna go rounds and Knoxville's gonna get thrown through a lot of shit, and then he's gonna end up getting disqualified. Sami's gonna end up getting disqualified for a chair shot or something stupid. But it's gonna make it so where neither one of them looks like a weak character.
Yeah. So I mean I do see also Knoxville winning. And well no actually no, I think Zayn's gonna win this one. To kind of bury the whole Johnny Knoxville rivalry to just let it all go and be done with it.
But there's
It's been going on since Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but
not before.
There's rumors that Knoxville's going to become an actual wrestler for a bit. He's going to do a stint.
God.
And I don't know if this is his stint that they were talking about or not, but there's been a lot of speculation that he's going to compete in a few matches. So I don't know.
Hope not.
I hope not, but
this is his last match. Is what I hope.
Oh, we'll see. I'll get into that more with the other celebrity we have here. So
I do think Zayn in that one.
Yeah. So okay, I got you down for Zayn because I'm not gonna remember this. So the next one we have, which is kind of I feel like is a rush one, but Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. So Vince McMahon's golden boy versus commentator Pat McAfee.
I mean, McAfee has come such a long way from being punter for the Colts to now an announcer for the WWE to now wrestling in the WWE. The dude is hilarious. Probably one of the funniest guys WWE's had as a commentator. I mean, he's hilarious. He's awesome. Wrestling wise, I don't know how much of an actual match this again is going to be.
But anyways, yeah. So Pat McAfee, though, yes, I think it's funny he came from the Colts and now he's a wrestler. I mean, he did a stint not too long ago in NXT. I saw he had a couple matches there. I don't watch NXT. I literally just get clips.
No, I haven't seen any NXT. I didn't know he was wrestling there.
Yeah, he had
but having him
matches, so
having him there, could it be entertaining? Maybe. I haven't seen Austin Theory wrestle. I mean, the guy is
he's
jacked.
Talented. He's talented. It's just a matter of do you think they'll put over Austin Theory, who's had this struggle of proving himself to Vince McMahon, or do you think they're gonna put over Pat McAfee and let this be a series of matches, like a best of 3, and have it resolved by Survivor Series?
I think they need to have more heat on McAfee, have him more of the heel announcer. Yeah. So I think the way that McAfee runs his mouth and does the thing, because they don't have. I'm not caught up on all the announcer wise, how they are, but the way the announcers are, they're very boring. McAfee is colorful. Yes. Corey Graves is also colorful.
Corey Graves is obnoxious. He's not. I can't agree that he's colorful. I would say he comes across very egotistical and obnoxious. Not even like Pat McAfee can be annoying at times, but Corey Graves seems like he's that dweeb that everybody's like, oh my god, he actually thinks wrestling is real. Like he thinks all these punches are real. He thinks none of it's scripted. He doesn't think like he reminds me of that type of person. Whereas Pat McAfee is the one, wrestling's not real. It's scripted. Or the
And
outcomes are scripted, but at the same time, these are real athletic people performing these moves and carrying out and acting and all this stuff. So he's like, they're both. He needs to be an evil comic terror, but Corey Graves is just a shitty bad guy.
I think McAfee takes this one. I think he builds the heat on himself to get that heel commentator
Yeah,
style to him.
I agree.
Is what I think that happens there.
I agree. I mean, no more real reason to deliberate. I mean, I agree with. I think Pat McAfee put it over, and this will piss Austin Theory off, and it'll go to a survivors match, best of 3 type matches. So that's my thought, and yours clearly too. So the next we have probably one of the biggest dream matches that we have on the card actually, which is Edge versus AJ Styles, and I can see this going so many ways. So how do you see it going? Who do you have?
This is probably going to be, and I'm honestly hoping for this to be the match of the night. I almost see this as co-main event or ending night one, more than likely. But the way that I can see it, because I see the championship going night number 2. But this one I think is going to be a great match, and trying to pick a winner on that one. I mean,
it doesn't have to be a clean
I don't
win.
know.
Remember that. Doesn't that you're not saying it has to be a clean pin. It's
No.
just who's gonna win. Who's gonna be
But I
the
don't know
winner.
what Edge is doing because I saw his new entrance that he did.
He went back to a major heel character. He's no longer a babyface.
So he's going heel, pushing that side. With AJ Styles seems to be stagnant.
Yes, he's very stagnant.
What I've seen, and I don't know if I don't like AJ Styles as babyface.
No,
I like him as a heel character, and I also like Edge as a heel character as well. But obviously, you cannot have 2 heels go at it and get over.
I mean you can have.
So
You can. It just has to be one is more of like the major heel, and the other one's just like a heel. And I think that's where AJ Styles is right now. Is he's a heel. He's a bad guy, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a massive huge bad guy.
This one I see. I can see AJ Styles pulling this one out and having his WrestleMania moment, taking out Edge and kind of jumping himself back into the title contention.
So you're
starting to.
You think AJ? I thought we were gonna agree on this one. Guess not.
No,
For the same reason though, I think it's gonna be Edge, so where he gets his WrestleMania moment that he's been dying for these last couple of years. He hasn't got it. He didn't get last year. He got screwed over, and he's been wanting this WrestleMania moment again. Granted for the title, but I think this is what's gonna propel Edge into the title picture again, and then we're gonna get a spear versus spear match again. But instead of Goldberg, it'll be Edge versus Roman Reigns for the title. And I think Edge will get one final title run. And that's probably where we're going to see AJ come back into play, either for his best of 3 matches or best of 2, whatever. So, I think Edge. I think they'll meet again. I'm hoping for a title picture, so where Reigns can go take a little vacation, be out due to injury, and take a little vacation and have it be Edge versus AJ for a bit.
Yeah, I am hoping for this to be kind of the best match of WrestleMania.
I think it'll be I don't think it'll open or close the match, but I think it'll steal the show, definitely. I think one of the women's matches is the closer for night 1. So I think it's Raw, probably. And maybe SmackDown since it's Rousey, but I think it's Raw. But anyways, I'm not really looking towards this next match at all, so I'm just going to tell you real quick. But McIntyre versus Corbin.
Yeah, Corbin.
I don't like Corbin. I think they've jacked him up too much. He could have been a great character.
What? Is King Corbin to Happy Corbin to
Well,
drunken on a corner Corbin.
you want to go back? He was the lone wolf for the longest time that got buried by
Yes,
John
that's yeah.
Cena. So yeah,
That one I did like.
yes. But then he
The
went
King
to all
Corbin
these
I couldn't
jokes.
stand. Everything after that I didn't like. The Happy Corbin and all that stuff I didn't like.
King Corbin wasn't like King Corbin did its job. It did what it was supposed to do: make you hate him, make you despise his character. So he did what he was supposed to do. So I hated that character, but at the same time, I was like, God, who's gonna just beat the shit out of him? But again, they ruined that with what 5-6 matches with Reigns back to back to back to back, and it's just obnoxious. So um, I I don't think Corbin's gonna win at all. I think it's gonna be McIntyre, and again, this is gonna somehow propel him into a title picture of sorts, whether U.S. Intercontinental or whatever they call this new unified title. So. But do you have Corbin? Do you think Corbin's gonna win?
Oh, I'm taking McIntyre.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. Had to give you a chance just in case. You never know. And then the other
The
celebrity
next
match:
celebrity match.
Mysterios versus fucking Miz and Logan Paul. God,
I am
unfortunately think I know what's actually going to happen, but it's not my prediction.
I'm a huge Miz fan. I've always liked the Miz since he came in. I
But did you
don't like the Paul brothers.
or did you like him, or is he one of those characters that you like? He makes such a good heel character that you like him, but you don't like him at the same time.
Once he started his whole awesome phase and all that stuff, he did. I've always liked him.
Gotcha.
Ever since then, I've liked him a lot. Character's been great.
It hasn't
But
gone
the
stale
fact that
over the
he's
years either.
with what's that?
It hasn't gone stale over the years either, like so many other
No,
characters. So
it's stuck. But the fact that he's teaming with Logan Paul, I think, is a tough one. I mean, I think it definitely screwed him after dropping Morrison.
but I mean, he didn't. Yeah, that is a whole issue though. Like they also released Morrison shortly after, so I think that's more of a creative thing of we're gonna release Morrison, so we need to break up this team so where it makes sense when we release him in a week or two. So
And like we talked about with the whole storyline of Mysterio trying to, or Miz trying to pull Mysterio from his dad and everything like that. I do think that um, the Miz and Logan off the win, or there's a turn on Dominic, turn on his dad, walking out and kind of separating all that, severing the family ties, and trying to go off on his own.
yeah.
And then shortly being released 6 months later.
So that's what I think. That's honestly what I think is gonna happen. Is
Yeah.
the Miz is going to win, and it's going to be a slow descent by Survivor Series. We will see the turn where Mysterio or Dominic will be pissed off at his dad for costing a match or whatever, and they will go rounds by WrestleMania, and they will have that will be Rey Mysterio's last match will be WrestleMania 39 against Dominic, his son. However, as much as I know that's probably what's going to happen, I hate Logan Paul. I don't like The Miz, but I like The Miz at the same time. Where I'm like, God, you're fucking annoying. I hate you, but you're a good performer. I think the Mysterios are going to win solely for the fact that they're trying to build up Dominic so much. And they're going to give Dominic almost every possible way. Whether it's Dominic winning using a 5-star frog splash and them doing a best of 3 matches and Logan Paul teams back up with The Miz at Survivor Series or whatever, but I don't think Logan Paul's done. So that's kind of
No. He said if the crowd pops, he'll do more. He's willing to do more. So he's already said that he's in if he can do more.
So that's kind of where I'm like,
oh, God.
I think the Mysterios will win, so where they can actually do a proper storyline. But it all depends upon how the crowd reacts. If the crowd is popped off and it's amazing, then they'll let the Mysterios win and have Logan Paul either be pinned or have it be where they somehow get disqualified. It won't be a clean win, is what I'm getting at. Mysterios will win, but not a clean way. So it won't be a correct pin or correct submission. It'll be a dirty pin or a disqualification of sorts. So, but I think your way is probably what's really going to happen. Is Miz will win. It will put a thought in Dominic. Dominic's story will then progress to Survivor Series, where Ray cost him a match or something, and then they turn on each other. So that's just my guess.
Or Dominic just walks out mid match.
Yeah, could be that. Yeah, especially if he's on like a Survivor's team match.
Mm.
So who knows?
We'll see.
Anyways. Not you, podcast, everybody.
Nope.
So we also we're coming to our top 3 matches of what will probably pop off night 1 and night 2, and then the ending of pop off and end night 1, and then it will end night 2. So Raw Women's Championship, which is Lynch versus Oh my god. I can't fucking talk.
Becky Lynch versus Belair.
I'm just like,
Bianca Belair.
But yeah.
Bianca, my hair's a whip Belair.
Dude, that tore Becky's skin up so bad. So, I'll let you go first because I have a thought on this. I want to see if you're there before I say it, so I don't influence you in a negative light.
Becky Lynch is probably one of the best women's wrestlers that WWE has. If not one of the better in-ring performers, because she's a badass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she went by Becky Lynch the man for a long time.
She still is.
Amazing.
She's still the man.
So I think the fact that she is that good and put on that type of match, I don't think she's going to pull this one off. Do you think they put the belt around Belair?
You think they're going to give it back to her?
Yes. I think it goes to her. I think she takes it after probably one of the best women's matches at WrestleMania because of Lynch.
Yeah. I mean, Belair, there we go. Fucking English tonight. Bianca is a hell of a performer too. But I think there's going to be a caveat to this match. I really do, because after Becky being whipped by the air, and then this past Monday, Becky destroyed Bianca, chair around her neck, and slammed her into a ring post. Sorry, spoiler. I think there's going to be a match this Monday. Something's going to happen that's going to hinder Bianca being able to use her hair at all. She's not going to be able to have it all the way down so where she can't whip. It's going to be deemed a weapon. I think they're going to keep it on Lynch. I do. I think it's going to come down to a heat of the moment and Bianca getting herself disqualified, or Becky and her put on a hell of a fucking show, close the night out, and it will just come down to a pure Becky had an ounce more. I think Becky's going to have an ounce more because this is the second WrestleMania these two have main event together. Becky stole it from her last year in under 30 seconds, came back, squashed her, done. Walked out champion. So I think Lynch is going to win, but I hope they do Bianca, and I hope Lynch kind of takes a couple weeks off and they let other people have a chance to actually win and set up a proper women's match. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Becky's going to win, and the winner, Becky, is going to face the winner of SmackDown Women's Champion, which I can already tell you right now, I think it's going to be Rousey's, where they can have a final match off at Survivor Series and hopefully unify those two championships. Just my guess. So I have Lynch on this, and As stated, next
Uh,
match, SmackDown's Women's Champion, Flair the champion
and
versus Ronda Rousey.
are you taking Rousey in that one?
Oh yeah, I think she's gonna make Flair tap, and it's gonna send Flair. She's gonna be hospitalized with a broken arm or something, and it's gonna cause her to go out and essentially just be gone for a bit because she's already kind of in that murky water because her boyfriend or fiance Andrade is over on AEW. So, and Ric Flair is no longer in good standings with Vince McMahon. So, yeah. Well,
When you're banging chicks on a train in the middle in the middle of the train,
there's so much
you
more
know,
than that too, but it's just recent
oh
events.
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna just combine these two. Like I said, I have Rousey. I think Rousey's gonna win. It's gonna kind of be just a shutout. It's gonna be a great match, but Becky Lynch's match is gonna be better, and these two are gonna face off at Survivor Series.
I mean, I like Ronda Rousey. I'm not a huge fan of Flair. I don't think she is
She's
that
not
good of a
as
wrestler.
no, she's not. They put her over way too much because of that name, Flair.
Yes.
Not good.
The persona she could carry, I think she could really do it. She could carry the women Flair title and do really well with it, but I don't think she's doing it in a manner that it's going to work for her.
No.
Trying to be your dad without putting a feminine twist to it.
Yeah, I mean,
Ronda Rousey is Ronda Rousey. I mean,
she's unapologetically Ronda Rousey. Like,
yeah, I mean, she is who she is, and I watched another clip today when The Rock brought her in ring, and she manhandled Triple H on a hip throw, and then snatched up Stephanie McMahon. But she's just awkward. She's extremely awkward when it comes to her outside of wrestling antics.
but that's where I say she's unapologetic. Like she even calls out the fans and she calls out WWE. She's like, you know, this ain't real. This is not real.
Yes.
And she calls out. She's neither a heel or a baby face. She literally is she's Ronda Rousey. And there's very few characters out there that are allowed to be that way. Like The Rock is one of them, and Rock was a good guy and a bad guy, but it's just one of those things that I think Rousey could do it, and it's just gonna be one of those things that she will hold it just long enough for a match with Lynch, and they're gonna see how well this title unification goes with Lesnar and Reign, and they're gonna be like, oh, we need to combine the women's because the women's division is a joke. The tag team division is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be one title where all the women between the two brands can fight and get rid of the brand split and say, look, if you're a woman, you can compete on either shows, and we will start having storylines bounce back and forth where you actually have to watch both shows rather than I'm just gonna watch Raw because Lynch is on there and I just want her story. And now you're like, oh fuck, I have to watch both. Okay, let's get to this. Let's do it.
Yeah, but one thing that I don't know Rousey's whole thing. Like, how long is she there? Like, she came out of nowhere, Royal Rumble, won it.
Yes, no, she did a stint in WWE a couple years ago.
I know that. But she took the time off. She screwed her hand up and take some time off when she was filming
She also had a kid.
Fast and Furious. Yeah, she had a kid.
She had a kid.
I think Becky Lynch had a kid in 3 months and came back and won the title after that.
Yeah, she wasn't even supposed to be there at WrestleMania. That was a wicked thing.
So, yeah, but no, I just don't know how long Rousey's around. I mean, is she just gonna pop in, do her thing, and be gone, or is she back for
until she decides to have a second kid? That's literally what she said.
Okay. All right. Well, see, I didn't know all that, but I don't know if she's. I don't know. I have a hard time with her character. Do you think she wins this match? Do you think she wins this match?
Yeah,
I think she does something to Flair, which the next match will eliminate her from being able to do the armbar. So she loses that one, and then she actually has to pin her instead of submit her.
So have you seen last week's SmackDown?
No,
Okay, so
I don't think I did.
Rousey made Flair tap with the ankle lock, and then they ended the night with Ronda and Charlotte going toe to toe by a car in the back area, and Flair showed off that she can do a new submission, and they didn't really give it a name, but she essentially beat the shit out of Ronda Rousey with the new submission. So I think WrestleMania may turn into a submission match, but
There you go. Yep.
I still see Rousey coming ahead because she does have that UFC background. And while yes, Flair has her daddy's submission, it doesn't matter. Ronda Rousey actually knows legitimate like submissions, not just these
Figure
WrestleMania
four
submissions.
hurts.
Oh yeah, I
You've
know.
been put the figure four. That shit hurts.
Yeah, I have brothers. I've done that to my wife. My wife's done it to me. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
I know, but neither does an arm bar when your arm is taken
No.
straight and they're bending right at the.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel good.
So who do you have on this match?
I'm taking Rousey in this one as
You're
well.
taking Rousey too. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think she wins. It's gonna be a title unification. That'd be the only way this works out properly. Is where they don't bury Flair and have Flair get pinned by Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch finally get to claim I am truly better than you, because then that takes away their whole fucking egotistic trip between the two of them. It's who's better, who's the better woman, even though it's Becky hands down.
They had a match yet?
Yeah.
Rousey and Lynch.
Yeah. Rousey and Lynch, or Flair and Lynch?
Oh, Rousey and Lynch.
The closest they got was a triple threat between Flair, Rousey, and Lynch.
Okay.
I don't think
So
they've
never
had a
one-on-one.
Yeah, and that's why I think Rousey's gonna win, so where they can have a proper one-on-one. And as much as I think they should let Becky win the match between the two of them, I could also see them letting Ronda win and unify the women's championship. So, but she would have to be committed to at least a full year's run. So, but I think that also depends on how this title unification works and who wins, which is our next matchup. The SmackDown Raw heavyweight and world champion Lesnar versus Reigns, and whoever wins now is a double champion, and they will unify the belt. So, who you got as the last thing we talk about tonight before we sign off?
So, two guys that one is hands down an unbeatable phenom is Lesnar. I mean, yes, he's been beat, but does not seem like a character that is easy to beat. Reigns is dependent on crowd. Nobody wants him. The first time he won the title, he lost like the next night.
But who's also a babyface.
Yes.
And
nobody wanted
babyfaces are not supposed to be booed.
No. In this one, I don't know, and again, I haven't been watching.
That's fine.
Don't know where Paul Heyman's at.
He's with Reigns right now.
Oh, he was with Reigns, but was he with Lesnar not too long ago?
Yes, and then he turned on Lesnar, and then there was the Madison Square Garden match 2 Saturdays ago where Reigns busted open, maybe last week. Reigns busted open Lesnar really bad on steps, and Lesnar has came out and tossed the championship and said, I don't give a shit about this anymore. This is no longer about championships. This is no longer about WWE. This is no longer about WrestleMania. You done fucked up. This is about blood. You drew first blood, and nobody draws first blood on Lesnar.
Now, when you do take the nomad style that Brock Lesnar now has, with his ponytail, man bun,
Cowboy
and
nomad.
Grizzly Adams beard that he's rocking with the Paul Bunyan sweatshirt.
I mean, it's his favorite persona that he's played to date. He's actually having fun with this.
And it actually works for him. He does. I mean, the first time I saw it, it looked goofy as hell, but it definitely works for him. I do see Lesnar winning this. unifying everything, and then who knows from there. Because I don't think Reigns is going to continue his head of the table, all that stuff anymore.
I want to agree with you. I do. But seeing as Lesnar has been in the company or been back with the company on this run for a little over a year now, or almost a year now, I think I think Reigns wins, and this will take Lesnar out again for a few months just to come back. Maybe he comes back as Survivor. But I think Reigns is going to win because they're building up Reigns' reputation. They're building up his heel. They're building up his street cred, whatever you want to call it. Because right now he has the longest reign as WWE champion. And I think they're going to push it a little bit further, have him unified, and take out. I think Chris Jericho has the reign for the unified champion, the longest reign. So it would only make sense because Jericho is with AEW, even though he's not on bad terms with WWE. I think they will have Reigns take it and say he's now been unified champion for 100 days, and then he'll lose that Survivor Series. But if Lesnar wins, that lets me know that they will combine the women's, and it will be Rousey that wins the unified women's match if they have one. If Reigns wins, I think they're going to have Lynch become the unified champion again because she's already been Becky 2 belts.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why it's like I purely going off the fact I think they're going to have Becky versus Ronda for a unification match as well. Becky's going to win. And it would make sense to have Becky and Reigns win versus Ronda Rousey and Lesnar. Because Ronda's still green, she's still new, and she still has such a wonky character. Like nobody really knows whether or not to hate her or like her. But right now, everybody hates Reigns, and they actually like Lesnar, which is not a common thing. So I think they're gonna keep. I think they're gonna keep the belt on Reigns and give him additional ones, so where he can have a one up on Lesnar.
It'll definitely be an interesting match, and I hope it's decent.
I hope it's long. I hope it's a long match. As long as it's good and not just long because they need it.
Yeah. It'll be good.
The last thing, the one thing I was kind of talking to you about earlier was the biggest rumor and speculation is about Cody Rhodes because he's no longer with AEW.
Oh, that's right.
And the fact that Cody Rhodes was supposed to be destined to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So we are still missing 2 matches, possibly 3. We don't have a U.S. title match, and we don't have an Intercontinental match. And the third match technically being Reigns versus Rhodes. So the rumor I was actually just reading today was, I guess, not Reigns, Rollins. Rollins had a live match with Damian and Finn Balor for the U.S. match, or U.S. championship. Finn still won, and they're supposed to be making it that way so where they could possibly add Seth Rollins into the WrestleMania card in a 3-way match against Damian Priest and Finn. But Finn Balor and Damian already have a good rivalry going on, and throwing Rollins in there really doesn't make sense. But they also want him to have a match of some sorts. So
yeah,
and then you have Ricochet, where there's no rivalry even lined up for him right now. So I don't think he'll be on the card at all for WrestleMania. Could be wrong. But those are the 3 biggest speculations right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have some last minute ads. I would think if Cody does come back, do you think they'll put a title on him right away?
It'd make no sense to have him take a title from Reigns.
Rollins?
No, I mean, Rollins doesn't have a title. So if he came back, he would have to feud with Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar, because those are two.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Who's IC champ right now?
Ricochet over on SmackDown.
Okay.
I could see him taking the title from him, but that would make, like, again, there's no sense because there's supposed to be this feud between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, but it's all speculation because, again, Rhodes hasn't signed. So,
And he's supposed to sign like a few days before WrestleMania, or his deadline or whatever.
his deadline was this week, but he still hasn't signed. And no, like, everybody's just saying it's in his court. It's in Cody's court. Wherever he wants to do, it's his hands. If he wants to sign, and Cody hasn't posted jack shit on social media or anywhere about wrestling for the last 2 weeks. Just saying he's
Which
loving
that
his life.
could be a whole part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt.
Yeah, so
He could come back on WrestleMania night 1, and Seth Rollins could challenge him to a match for night 2. That'd be really the only way it would make sense for those two to do it, and then have them do a best of 3 match in the Survivor Series again. So, I don't know.
Huh.
It'll be interesting where those 2 other championships go, because they're not on the card at all, and they have all the other championships but the mid card of US and IC. So, and then Seth Rollins doesn't have a match, and this will be the first WrestleMania he's missed in a while. So, who freaking knows? But you got anything else to add to the WWE fiasco, or
you're not just looking forward to it and hoping for good matches and fun night. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, we're over 2 hours. So this is not normal, by the way, everyone. This is like, we're trying to stick to an hour and a half, but I had to hear what Marvel DC.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna go that long, but
that
it was
definitely
my bad.
That was my bad. That's a subject, like I said, I could talk about for hours on end.
I know, but
it's
good.
So thank you all for tuning in with us. It's been a blast. This one really is, I guess, really just been focused around comic books and wrestling. We are trying, our goal is to do 2 podcasts a month with our 2 video editions a month. Essentially every other week. So every Friday you should be able to catch some type of content from us, whether over on YouTube or on wherever you watch or listen, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora. So, I mean, we're on virtually everywhere. So, and then the other Fridays you can catch us over on YouTube and see us actually bullshit even more with my nice graphics.
Yes, please rate and review all of them.
Yes,
Like, the more reviews we get,
subscribe,
higher we go.
Even if it's bad reviews, I mean,
There's probably not one bad review, something.
I get destroyed constantly on my YouTube. You know you're trash. You're playing at 10% field of view. Dipshits. YouTube Shorts and TikTok. It's a portrait landscape, you dumbass. Ugh. That's going to be a podcast, by the way. I want to talk about that one time. But do greatly thank you all for hanging out and chat, listening to us tonight, or today, whatever time frame. We do greatly appreciate it. And yeah, you can follow us on all social media at 2 Guys 1 Gamepad, with the exception of Twitter. If you want, it's at 2 Gamepad. Contact Twitter and tell them we want our handle back of 2 Guys 1 Gamepad, because they don't like me, clearly. So we do
not being nice.
They're really not. So we do greatly appreciate y'all, and of course, like Rahgel said, like, follow, subscribe, and review, comment, whatever. Anything you can do will greatly help us out, and we do appreciate. And our video podcast, like you said at the top of the hour, hit over 1,000 views in under 2 days, and that was fucking phenomenal. So I don't know where we're at now. I haven't looked lately. I've been busy, but amazing. So thank you all for that. And again, my name is Sig. I greatly enjoyed hanging out with Rahgel tonight and having y'all listen. So, yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, later.
And that's Rahgel's sign. Have a good one, everyone.